أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Assalamu alaikum jamiyan wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Subhanallah, the days are passing so quickly. We started on Saturday, so today is Wednesday, 5th day of Ramadan. That means 1/6 of the Ramadan is just will be finishing by this evening. Days are passing very quickly, and really we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us the fiqh, that we make use of every hour of this holy month of Ramadan properly. So yesterday we discussed about the 5 qualities of muttaqeen, and based on the tafsir of Al-Mizan, we quoted a number of hadiths, right? And most important, of course, was that al-mustaghfirina bil ashar, that they plead for, they ask for forgiveness at dawns. So istighfar is one of the most important things to be done. Keeping that in mind, that we yesterday discussed istighfar in the qunut of Surat al-Witr. But let's say, for instance, sometimes you are doing dishes, or you are cooking, or you're preparing sahari, or other things. Even at that time, please keep on doing istighfar. That will be also good, because it is, of course, the best thing is to do istighfar in the salat, in the qunut. But at the same time, just continue discussing or doing istighfar. Even, for example, sometimes if you wake up early in the morning, and you're doing other things, or you can't go to sleep, doing istighfar is the best thing. Although, because that is, you can see, clearly says, well, mustaqfiruna bil ashar. That means they do istighfar, doing doing ashar, doing sahar. Beginning today, we will start looking at some of the du'as, but at the same time, look at other things, other aspects, of this course. So we'll look at some of the aspects of some of the du'as very briefly, but other aspects about Suhūr we'll continue discussing. So this is a dua which is a beautiful dua. It was part of a book. When we were young, we used to use a book, Najatus Sa'imin, a young book which was for many years we were using in East Africa. Even some of the communities still use it. And it was part of that book. Because of that, we used to recite this dua. Then, as we went to the Hausa and we were introduced to Mafatul Jinan. Mafati did not have this dua except as in a footnote. So because it was in a footnote, sometimes people just ignored it. So for instance, that Mafati now, which I'm using, this translation by Kuli Karai, somehow has missed this dua. I am in contact with him, so I'm going to write to him that why is he decided to. Do you think that maybe that footnote was added by somebody else and not by Sheikh Abbas Kumi? That's why. There must be some reason. But in any case, the dua is beautiful. And as I was preparing for these slides, I realized that this dua is also found, the audio of recitation of this dua is found on rafet.net. Now, rafet.net is one of the oldest websites which is being run by Ayatollah Sistani's office in Qom, rafet.net. So if you things which you found in rafet.net, keep in mind that perhaps you can rely on it because it's coming from scholars. The whole team which are overlooking this thing are scholars. Scholars are the one who look at certain things and then they post it on this website. So keep in mind that. So I was able to find this dua being recited by somebody, but in rafet.net. And the dua also, when I saw that in YouTube, there is only one place which was recited and people have benefited. Otherwise, recently 2 people have recited this dua this year, and the number of hits have been very low. That means people don't know about this dua. It's a beautiful and powerful dua. And what we have done, because it is a very good dua, when we revised our many of Ramadan devotions some years ago, we put this dua as the first. For example, if you go to our book, this Ramadan and Shawwal devotions, we have section number 4 on Suhūr, taking of food before dawn. and then about Sahar also. The first dua which we have included is this one. Then, of course, there's another second dua, and then third is dua baha, and then, of course, there's tasbih, right? But this is the first dua we included there. I could not find it taught by Imam or not. We could not find it, so we do not want to just add unnecessary. We could not even find in Jam al-Hadith. There's a software which is a collection of all the hadiths. We could not find it. So maybe it was not from Imam, or it was from Imam, but they could not try to trace it. But inshallah, I'll try to still talk to some scholars. If they know anything, I'll share with you. But we'll look at the dua because it is a very powerful dua and beautiful dua, and actually very pertinent at this time of the day to recite this dua. No? And inshallah, I hope that you will have access to this dua somehow. If you don't have a book or Ramadan manual, try to get this dua and make a point to recite it, at the time of Sahari, before Sahari, or after, or before you go to sleep, at that time. So let us look at the first passage only. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. What I've done is that I'll take the passage and then I'll put here. See, here it is. Ilahi waqaf as-sa'iluna bibabik wa la zal faqara bi janabik. ووقفت سفينة المساكين على سهل بحر جودك وكرمك يرجون الجواز إلى سعة رحمتك ونعمتك. So what I have besides Ilahi, which is of course the beginning of 4 passages, we start with Ilahi. Then the words which are bold these are verbs. So you can see the verbs which Imam has employed, and dua has been employed in this dua. So, Ilahi waqaf as-sa'iluna bibabik. ولا ذا الفقراء بجنابك وقفت سفينة المساكين على سهل بحر جودك وكرمك يرجون الجواز إلى سعة رحمتك. So as I said that first of all, the beggars are standing at your door. So that waqaf is standing. The beggars are standing at your door. The needy have taken refuge with your honor, right? And then the ark of the destitute is at the shores of the sea of your generosity and grace. يرجون الجواز إلى سعة رحمتك, hoping for permission to cross to the shores of your mercy and blessing. So it's a very, subhanAllah, touching dua, right? If you see even translation, but if you understand the language, then you really find it's a beautiful dua. And these are the things, for example, if somebody is beloved to you, there are certain things you talk to him or her at a special time, right? Completely, in isolation. So this is the kind of language which is to be recited at this time. For example, this dua, and we are going to look at other dua. Of course, one of the also masterpieces of dua at this time is dua Abu Hamza Ismaili, which we will not discuss, of course, because a long dua, it requires not only one course, it requires 3-4 courses, but we will mention a slide will be there, just the gist of it. So this also is a beautiful dua, and it's very pertinent, and it's not very difficult and does not take that long. So in this one, you put as the first dua, and make a point that you recite this dua regularly in this month of Ramadan during Sahar. So look at this, very briefly. We won't get it. First of all, I said that I could not find that who each Imam has taught this thing, but I could find this dua being recited rafet.net. So this you can see. I'll also give an exact web link where you can get it, so you can click there and listen to the dua. He says, first of all, when we say, question here, anybody knows here when we say Ayatollah Sistani to bracket DZ? Anybody knows the meaning of this particular symbols? What does it stand for? Don't worry if it's wrong, just try. Does anybody know, for example, we know Allah Islam is AS, SAW, does anybody know DZ? Okay, this is often used if you see when Ayatollah Sistani's name is taken, or a scholar, you'll find this thing. It's Dama Dhillu. That means, may his shadow continue forever, right? In other words, may he continue to guide us. This is the greetings we give, for example, when you talk about a scholar who is living. we say that may Allah give him long life, that he continues to guide us. Dama dhillu. So notice, for example, the use of ilahi before the passage. Ilahi means my God. That itself shows that when you are starting this dua, already you are in the presence of Allah. You are talking to him as very personal, right? Addressing. For example, my father, my friend, my beloved, right? When you start with this my, for example, you say my God, right? Of course, God is not only yours and mine, right? It's everybody's God. But to start a dua with that, the same way, for example, those of you who have had the opportunity in month of Shaban to start Munajat Shabaniya, those passages also start with Ilahi. By the way, somebody has done reflection on Munajat Shabaniya, which if you go to a website, we've just posted. I just not announced it. I thought I'll announce it now, today, perhaps on Friday. But if you go to a website and under duas, under which resources, there's a section dua. You just posted there 15 documents, reflections on Munajat Shabaniya, one-page reflection. No? So you can see that even there it's Ilahi, my God, right? Suddenly, although it's my say, but now it changes to plural. The beggars. Sa'il is a beggar, you know, or the one who asks, are just standing at your door, right? So a beggar comes to your door, we are like beggars at the door of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the needy have taken refuge with your honor. No? That you are honorable, you are generous, you are kind, right? So they were taken refuge in your honor, that you would not let them down. وَوَقَفَتْ سَفِينَةُ الْمَسَاكِينِ عَلَى سَاحِلِ بَحْرِ جُودِكَ وَكَرَمِكَ. The ark of the destitute, masakin. No? Fakir also is a poor, but masakin is a destitute, right? Somebody who's humble, you know. وَوَقَفَتْ سَفِينَةُ الْمَسَاكِينِ عَلَى سَاحِلِ بَحْرِ جُودِكَ وَكَرَمِكَ. No? They are just at the shores of the sea of your generosity and grace. يَرْجُونَ الْجَوَازَ إِلَى سَاعَةِ رَحْمَتِكَ. No? They're just hoping for permission to cross the shores of your mercy and blessing. No? So it's a quite touching way. So those, for example, words, wakafa, laza, wakafa, rajuna, these are all words, right? And the use of also words like beggars, needy, the destitute, right, is indication of humility and humbleness in the presence of Almighty Allah. And then invoking the shores of divine mercy, grace, and blessing by being at His door, honor and shore. So all this, you see the language which is being used. It's a very touchy and quite personal, right? That you're talking to somebody who is so beloved, somebody who's so near you, somebody whom you know. And that is what is it, right? That we have. By being the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by fasting, it is the command, we are that close. Plus, month of Ramadan, Prophet has said that we are the guest of Allah. So we are already the guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and now He is our host. And we are getting day by day as we are fasting, reciting Quran, doing munajat, we are getting closer to Him, right? So, and then because of that closeness, we have that almost, that himmat, or should I say audacity, that to ask certain things which otherwise we would not dare to, right? Because, so when you are, for example, staying at somebody, and over time when you befriend that person, then you start talking things which are personal. That's exactly what the picture is drawn here. So I thought that inshallah we will look at this dua gradually, okay? Coming to yesterday's discussion, we did emphasize about namaz al-shab, tahajjud salah. But the question also comes, what happens, for example, that if we, despite all efforts, if we sometimes have a situation that we do not have enough time to complete saying all 11 rakats of tahajjud salah, what should we do? So I thought that I would also tackle this particular question, because this is common. For instance, you wanted to wake up, but you overslept, or you forgot to switch on your alarm, right? Or for example, that you woke up on time, but then you had to prepare sahari, that took away time. You woke up on time, but you had to, because of sometimes situation people have that you have to renew wuzu number of times. So all that takes time, right? So what do you do then? You still want to benefit. So I thought that people just do what people think that, no, if you can't do 11 rakats, just do 3 rakats. No, that is not the first alternative. Let us look at the alternatives. How do we go about, right? First is recite short surahs after Al-Fatiha. So for example, after Surah Al-Fatiha, of course, there are so many surahs you can recite, and the longer the better in tahajjud. But because you're limited time, Al-Fatiha, then for example, Surah Tawheed, or Surah Asr, or Surah Kawthar, right? Recite short surahs. Now just say Subhanallah 3 times ruku and sajda, just Subhanallah. Only say Astaghfirullah. For example, Astaghfirullah, Allahu Akbar. Now you go to sajda, Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Allah Akbar, Astaghfirullah. Just say Astaghfirullah between 2 sajdas. Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh, but because of limited time. Tashahhud, of course, is the only thing we say, complete. And only last salam, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. So finish your salat. You will see that if you limit yourself to these things, you will complete 2 rakat in less than a minute and few seconds. No? So that means for 11 rakats, you're talking of you need about 15 minutes maximum. Instead of, people, what they do that, okay, because the limited time, they say, okay, I'm just going to recite Surah Shafa and Witr. No, you still have to recite 11 rakats possible. And then in the kunut also, the long kunut, which is the peak of Salat al-Witr, which is Witr, Salat Witr, kunut of Salat Witr, just say, in the kunut of Witr, recite, what dua, right? Dua Faraj, which is there. Not Dua Faraj, but dua, there is another dua which, it's a La ilaha illallah halimul kareem la al-yazim. Just recite the dua. Let me see what is the name of the dua. I'm forgetting the name of the dua. So that is the dua we recite. And after that, just recite, do istighfar 700 times, and Raf'a just 10 times instead of 300 times. So that will shorten your kunut, right? Together, I think if you follow this 1 and 2, right, you will find that, that number 1, it takes 15 minutes less. No? Of course, the complete tahajjud salat, which we said yesterday, if you follow all what is there, it takes 1 hour. But this will take 15 minutes, so you can still do it. Even if you don't have enough time for that, let's say. Then the ulama tell us that you can say Surah Al-Fatiha without a surah after that. Just go to ruku, then just go to sajda, right? So you can leave out, you can just leave the surahs after Al-Fatiha, but still do those 11 rakats, okay? And the kunut just says salawat, and 7 times istighfar, and 10 times al-afwa. So it is important that you should know this. And then, of course, still, if it's not possible, then you recite at least 4 rakat, and the rest can be said after Sahari, even if the azan has time is setting. So keep in mind, because you cannot delay your Sahari, right? Because once the azan time comes, you have to stop eating. Not only azan time, but before. These 5 minutes which you have provided imsak is good. Maximum, you make it to 4, but don't go beyond that. Scholars say that don't take chances, because that slight, even few seconds, if you cross the time of dawn comes and your fast is gone. So, and then of course, if it is because of negligence, your fast is gone, it is not only qaza, but it is kafara also. So don't take chances on that. Once imsak comes, stop eating and drinking, right? But what you can do, recite 4 rakat tahajjud salat, go and get your sahri done, whether you have to prepare sahri or you eat sahri, do that. And then after that, continue. So even when you are continuing your tahajjud salat and azan is being said, don't worry. Continue with your tahajjud salat all the way until you finish it. Then you do azan, ikama, and the fajr namaz. Even, for example, it is little late. So much so that Ayatollah Sistani says that you can continue with the tahajjud salat all the way till namaz, fajr has not become, the fazilat time of fajr is there. So we'll discuss about fazilat time later on, inshallah. But as long as within fazilat time, if you can do your fajr prayers, fine. you can still continue with your Tahajjud Salat. So keep that in mind, that these are the steps you need to take in the event where you are running short of time. But the bottom line is that let us try not to miss Tahajjud Salat, Namaz Shab in the month of Ramadan. That I know people, in fact, do it throughout the year, but in the month of Ramadan, because keep in mind, I don't know if you notice this thing, and I think there's also in Hadith, that Friday is very tight day, because Friday is a holy day. So many things you do, so you'll find suddenly the time passes so quickly. Whether it is a coincidence or not, we don't know. So in the same way, Ramadan also passes very quickly. So although you may be saying your Tahajjud Salat throughout the year, but in Ramadan, because there are other things to be done, Sahar has to be done, Sahar is prepared, get ready for fasting, right? All those things comes about. So sometimes we run short of time. So we should know what do we know in that case. At the same time, benefit. Okay. So Ramadan also keep that in mind. And as on Saturday and Sundays, we don't have a class, so I do a presentation on Saturday and Sundays at Jafri Masjid. At that time, I said that, for example, Prophet has said that this is the best of all the months. Then he says, the days of this month are the best of all the days, right? Then he says the night of this month are the best of the nights of all the month. Then he says the hours of this month are the best of all the hours. So every hour is important. It's not only, for example, that we fast and do Amal with the Qadr, and we are no, every hour. So if we have 30 days in this month, which is expected according to calendar, we'll have 720 hours. So already 5, right? Times 24. So almost you can see 120 or no, yeah, about 120 hours already are gone, right? By this evening, that will be done for 20 hours from this. So days hours are passing very quickly. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may Allah give us the tawfiq, that we are able to really benefit in this month of Ramadan and make the best of it. Any questions, any clarifications? Yeah, good. So inshallah, we will continue discussing this dua and also other duas, and and also continue with other hadiths regarding the time of Sahar and also Suhūr, inshallah. Please let us keep each of them with duas, and may Allah accept the efforts, inshallah. English version of Rafid, yeah, if you just go to Rafid, you'll find there is available, right? If you just go to rafid.net, you'll find that there is some English articles also there, but a lot of things are in Arabic, yeah. No link visible. I was there only yesterday, so just check it now. I was there. But rafid.net, yeah, it's a reliable website. I'll check it what is there in English, inshallah. I'll share with you, inshallah. وصلى الله على الطاهرين. Inshallah.